Today's guest is not from sales. After finishing school, when his friends were starting their own business, he's preparing for engineering. He wanted to learn Spanish. In fact, he finished his bachelor's in Spanish, which is kind of unusual if you ask me. He then learned advanced Spanish, saved up money, took some from parents, went to Spain not once but four times. Couchsurfed with strangers. His command over the language led him to be a part of FIFA under 17 Spanish team a few years ago, an experience a lot of you I know will pay for. Today, he works at Amazon when he's not playing PlayStation. He teaches Spanish in his free time to students not only in India, but in Dubai, London, and a few other countries. He doesn't like to boast, but he modeled for a website recently. He recently started his own YouTube channel where he drops knowledge about the Spanish language and life. He's the reason my channel got a new look as he introduced me to my current editor. For a guy at 26, I think his life is quite sorted. Without further ado, let's welcome Lakshay Khurana. All right. Welcome, Lakshay, to the 14th episode of Sales Spin. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this, not once, but actually twice. So really appreciate it. I think we both were kind of lacking in the lighting, which I think we're trying to make up now. So I think it's looking good. So let's get started. How are you today, man?
I'm good. Way better than the other day.
Yeah, I know. So, all right. Let's start with simple things. I want to keep, I will anyways be introducing you before this whole thing starts. But let's start with, tell us about yourself. What do you do? Who are you? Audience would want to definitely know that.
So yeah, my name is Lakshay Khurana. I am 26 years old. I am a Spanish language expert. Currently, I work for Amazon, and I also teach the language when I get time. I have a bunch of students. And recently, I started making content around Spanish and languages. So my credentials are I have a BA honors in Spanish from Delhi University and a B2 Delhi from the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Spain.
Wow. Okay, we're going to jump onto that in a minute, but I think you almost covered everything what we're going to cover in the whole show. So thank you for spoiling it. Okay, let's start with something very basic. And I think, Lakshay, this is a no-brainer. Like you were kind of born with a silver spoon, right? What you want to talk about is, let's talk about who you were as a student in school, and then we're going to jump on to more important things.
Sure. So I want to believe that, yeah, I was a bad student, but I was bad because I was into sports. And at that age, you don't understand the importance of formal education. You don't.
How old are you, Lakshay? I'm sorry to cut you short. How old are you?
26.
Okay, now go ahead. Sorry.
So yeah, back then you don't understand the importance of formal education. I only wanted to play. I did not care about what marks I was getting. I did not care if I was getting a 75, 80 or a 30 or a 13 out of 100 in maths. I wanted to play. I wanted to be there. Play in my school, play. There's a park in front of my house, play there, just be with my friends, enjoy life in general like any other kid. And I really don't understand the whole idea of putting pressure on kids so early. And I was one of those kids. Like if you tell me right now, I can kill it. It was so easy. I like looking back at it right now. But back then I just did not want to study. I was a bad student. Out of 5, I would, let's say, fail in 1 or 2, let's say science or maths. So if I could get a 60 in all 5 subjects, that would be an achievement for me. So not a good student, was always on the football field.
Nice. Okay, I'm sure that there are a lot of people who I know, in fact, are like football fans. Of course, I don't know anybody who are probably in that age right now where they have to make a decision or anything like that. But so we understand that, you were probably not a studious one. You never cared about the score, which is fair. How did you get interested in a language? And before you answer that, I have a further thing which I want to add. Most of the people, I'm not sure what happened today. For example, back when I was studying, or I was in 12th, or when you were in 12th, I think there was a lot of pressure on students, or especially kids, to take the subjects like non-medical, because you have to become a doctor, engineer, the normal profession, right? Which everybody, or which our parents would probably know, which I think most of the time now I'm thinking out loud. Most of the time, I think parents force the kid to adopt these subjects is because so that that's easy for them to explain. Hey, my kid is a doctor, my kid is an engineer. Finish, you know. So how did you start? How did you think about, hey, I want to learn a language?
So I have two sisters, and both of them were doing different things. One was into art, and the other one used to go to dance work. So even I was given the liberty to do whatever I want. I tried swimming, dancing. I tried drums. I had a drum kit at my house, that massive drum kit. I tried everything. And then suddenly in 2008, Spain won the European Championship, Euro Cup that is happening right now. Spain won that in 2008. And Rafa Nadal was just bursting onto the scene, Fernando Alonso, all these Spanish athletes, they were just popping up. And then Enrique Iglesias coming up with the song for the Euro Cup. So everything that I was watching and that I liked was Spanish. And suddenly I decided, okay, I learned Spanish. So I've tried so many things. Let me try Spanish also, because at times I had to stream football matches and the commentary was in Spanish. So like, fine. Just so that I could understand, I learned Spanish. So I went to an institute, Instituto Hispania, which is in Hostel right now. I'm hoping it is still there.
Mm-hmm.
I went there, and this was 11th standard, 2010. Now the classes were on Saturdays and Sundays, and because of Commonwealth Games, my school decided, okay, the classes during the Commonwealth Games, they had to close the school. And now my school was like, okay, we'll conduct classes on Saturdays, because we had missed a month of
Wow.
classes because of Commonwealth Games. Now imagine, I was missing the Saturday class, going to the Sunday class, clueless. And I remember I gave the exam. I just appeared. There were 3 exams. I appeared for only one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I did not learn anything. I quit that time. And then came after. So how did I get? I got 86 in 12th. And how did I get that? I went to play football and I did not warm up. I just jumped into the game, and suddenly I dislocated my bones. So I was. This is just before my pre-boards, and I was on bed rest. So my sister was like, now you cannot even go to the washroom on your own. Why don't you sit and study? Just give it a try. And I had no other option. I had books lying all around me.
And there was no
iPad,
there was no Netflix at that time, right?
No, nothing like that. We had internet. Internet was still there, but we had those huge desktops and one laptop. My elder sister had, so I was not getting it. So dislocated my bone, and I studied. I don't remember did I really study, but I got 86. And now the opportunity to go to Delhi University opened. My parents were preparing the money for a private university, and suddenly now the options have opened for Delhi University. My cousin's sister, she was doing her graduation in Spanish, so I thought fine. And I was also preparing for law. So now I give law. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I had no idea. Somebody told me, why don't you do law? Everybody was doing law. And back then in 2010, you do things what your friends are doing, right? So I was one of them. Now, I appear for the exam. I clear the exam with the 86% that I have. I clear a bunch of other colleges, DCSE for Pol Science Honors, Bhagat Singh for regular BA, and also a bunch of private law colleges. Then I had to make a choice, and it was so easy. It was something like God was giving me another shot at Spanish. And in 2012, doing your honors in Spanish or making your career in languages was unheard of. And I had nothing in my mind that I want to make my career in Spanish. The whole idea was, I want to go to Spain. I want to watch matches in Madrid and Barcelona, and the money that my parents have saved for the private university, I'll spend there in Spain. That's it.
Wow. Okay, that's an interesting take. At the same time, yeah, better use of your parents' money. I think I am probably at a stage where I've talked to a number of people who are probably of your age who have spent, I don't know, maybe up to 20 lakhs on their higher education, on education, and that has not amounted to anything. So I think that's a better use of probably using your parents' money.
Yeah, and my fees was 1,200 rupees per semester. So I was so happy that I wasn't spending that much money. But by the second year of my college, I did join Instituto Cervantes. For people who don't know, Instituto Cervantes is your institute by the Spanish embassy. It's the cultural hub where you learn language, where they have an auditorium where they have movies, they have plays, basically the culture center for the
Got it.
Spanish embassy. So I joined it by my second year, 2014, and I was
So
studying
your
there.
parents could never tell you, hey, you know what, we're spending so much money on you. You could always say, hey, you're not spending money on me.
No, so the other thing was we are sending you to Spain, so make the best of it.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. All right, awesome, man. I mean, this is a very interesting story. I'm pretty sure a lot of people who are probably at your age, or probably even who are your age, right? They can probably look back in their, go back to their career or their time and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I could have done that. Or, I'm sure there's still time, right? A lot of people probably want to learn the language right now, but they probably don't know, for example, if there's a future to it. Or what else can you do? Let's say I'm sure that you can always get a job based on a language, but again, that's something you can always talk about more. Like, okay, let's start with that. Let's talk about that. So let's say if somebody somebody is in 12th standard right now. Okay,
Yeah.
no matter what stream they have chosen, humanities, medical, non-medical, doesn't matter. They decide, hey, I want to follow Lakshay's path because that seems exciting. I can easily score good marks. I mean, that's what's required to get into, let's say, DU, or like you said, if people do not get into DU, they can always go to the Cervantes, pursue the whole thing, get into that culture, imbibe the whole vibes, right? And learn the language. So what happens after that? So let's say you have a language. At the same time, I'm sure it's not that, you have a degree and you get a job. I think it all depends on how much command you have over the language, correct?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You can have all the degrees in the world, but when you're going for an MNC job, let's say for an interview, if you cannot speak the language, if you cannot write in that language, it is not going to happen for you. I have examples in my from my class from Delhi University. It can 100% happen. But what I suggest would, don't take my path, please. Pursue something else and study language on the side. Don't make Spanish. Luckily, I could, with all the experiences, all the passion that I have, I could navigate and do things which could take me to other places as well. But I would say, let's say you're doing engineering, you have to follow your parents and what they are saying.
Right.
Do that. But if you like the language, go to that private institute and learn on the weekend. Because I was also learning on the weekends. You can do that, and you have time, because 3 years is a lot to learn a language. You can do it in 1.5, 2 years, and you have enough time. Do whatever you want. You want to become a pilot, doctor, engineer. You want to do a regular BA, does not matter. Do that, and go to Cervantes or any, for Orleans for French, or Max Muller for German, or whatever, whichever language you want to learn, go for it. Because I'll tell you, before learning Spanish,
Right.
Before learning Spanish, Latin America, South America did not exist for me, and it does not exist for most of the people who speak English. Once you learn a language, a new world will open for you. Imagine you learn Japanese and then you go to Japan. It is a different experience altogether.
So Lakshay, this is getting even more exciting than I actually had anticipated. So I think viewers are, I'm sure a lot of people are football fans here, and I'm sure we can all see the jersey at the back. You want to talk about whose jersey is that? Like, you want to give some history?
Yeah. So that jersey belongs to Antonio Blanco. He is a Real Madrid player. A month ago, he made his debut for Real Madrid, and that is one of my T-shirts that I had, and it has autographs of all the 21 players that came to India for the FIFA Under-17 World Cup. I was the part of the support staff of the Spanish national team as the team liaison officer. Team liaison, in easy words, I was the first point of contact for the Spanish national team during the Under-17 World Cup. That happened in India. So any information would flow through me. If they wanted to contact anybody, if journalists, FIFA, anybody, if they wanted to contact the team, they would come up to me, and then I'll find the right guy, the manager, the coach, the physiotherapist, the doctor, players, anything. So they needed a focal point to contact somebody, and I was that person for the Spanish team.
How did you get that opportunity? Because I'm sure there are millions out there who would probably die to have such an opportunity where you got to spend time with FIFA Under-17 players. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about, like, how did that happen?
I've always been a football fan, and then in 2014, it was announced that India would host the Under-17 World Cup, and then came 2017. Delhi was one of the venues, and I wanted to be involved in the tournament. So I went to the FIFA website. I was looking for anything, could be a volunteer job as well, but
Right.
I could not find anything. But in my class, and all my teachers knew how big, while learning Spanish, half of my answers would involve football. So one of my professors from the university, she tagged me on a post which said Spanish language expert required, who also knows football, something in those lines.
Okay.
And I sent my CV email. I sent my CV. I got a call from Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium, where they had the FIFA LOC office. I went there, gave the interviews, and back then I was teaching Spanish at Amity University. So the
Wow.
head of the FIFA LOC was from Chile. He took my interview in Spanish. He liked it. One thing he asked me, "Are you available on these days?" I said yes, without even thinking that I have other commitments like Amity where I have to teach. And in my head, I was like, doesn't matter if I have to quit Amity. This is something I'm not going
Once
to
in a
leave.
lifetime
It is
opportunity. Yeah.
once in a lifetime opportunity. Back then, I was able to manage. I had a word with the head of the department at Amity. He was a very kind person, and he said, okay, you adjust the classes, you take those classes before, and then you can go for the tournament. Yeah, so one Facebook post getting tagged onto that, and then that's how I got the opportunity. Just me being very vocal of how much I loved Spanish and football.
So basically, your love for the language and football led you to have the best moment of anybody can have in a probably in a football lover, I might say, in a
Yeah,
football lover
100%.
history. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
100%. It's not just football, for anything
Yeah.
you're doing. If you have real passion, other people can see it.
Wow, nice. That this is like absolutely exciting. So tell us about this. Like you said, there are a lot of people, for example, who might have a passion for language. And for example, this could be a possibility, like you said, a lot of people give in to their parents' wishes, right? Okay, you know what, father says, hey, pursue engineering, and the guy or girl starts pursuing engineering or doctor, whatever, lawyer, this lawyer thing. Sometime down the line, they realize, yeah, you know what, this is not probably for me. There are other exciting options. I want to live the life Lakshay has probably lived. So I start learning languages on weekends, and sooner or later I develop like more passion. Like I start liking it. What are my career options once I've completed the language, and how do I find those options?
Basic, firstly, MNCs, companies like Amazon, Amex. There are so many companies. Depends on the language that you learn.
Right.
You have a lot of MNCs in Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, all these cities where you can find job. But and then other options are, if you get a B2 Delhi is like IELTS, but it is for lifetime. It is your exam that is conducted by the Ministry of Spain, but it is for lifetime. Once you get a B2 Delhi, you can apply for your embassy jobs as well. Embassies that are here in Delhi: Spanish embassy, Colombian embassy, Mexican embassy, or there are around 20, 26, around 30, I would say, Spanish-speaking countries.
Okay, so you can apply for MNC's job. So you said there is an exam which you have to take, and
no, MNC basically, if you have a graduation MNC, they would hire you for your embassy jobs. You need
for the embassy job. You need to take that exam.
Because they only accept a Delhi certificate, which is because it is the official certificate by the Ministry of Culture, Sports, Spain. So they ask for that, not a degree from Delhi University or any other certificate course.
Got it.
And the other options that you have is freelance people. I know a lot of people who do freelance work, translation work, but that is part time. That is not something. It's not a permanent job. Right. And then the fourth option would be, you can teach the language. That I was doing in 2017. I was teaching the language. People who like to teach can pursue that option, but again, the options are limited. That's why I always say, do whatever you want to do, engineering, you want to become a doctor, whatever, and learn language on the side. For instance, imagine I'm a graphic designer. Now I'm getting business from Latin America or Spain. Or let's say I can speak Japanese. Now I'm getting business from Japan just because I can speak
You
Japanese,
speak the
or just
language.
because, yeah. So learn whatever skill, study whatever you want to do, and then do language on the side. Because not everybody would get an opportunity, or not everybody would make a YouTube channel, or not everybody would like to teach.
Got
So
it.
you will limit your options.
That is insightful. So Lakshay, you recently started your own YouTube channel, and from what I remember, it's all started from Instagram, where you started with talking about words which are similar in Hindi, which are pronounced similar in Hindi and Spanish, but have like different funny meanings. So talk about that. What led you to start it? Like if somebody, let's say, is in your shoes, maybe who is, let's say, who knows the language, it could be Spanish, it could be French or Mexican or whatever. Sorry, it could be, Portuguese or any other language, right? And they want to start a channel, let's say on something similar. So what one I want to understand is why should they start a channel, and what led you to start the channel so that they can probably be motivated?
So I'll answer the question why I started. Uh, I'm working from home because of COVID. We all know we are working from home, and then my work gets over by five or six. So I have a lot of time on my hands. So one fine day, I got up and like, okay, let me. And reels, they were getting very popular. So I got up and I was like, fine, let me make videos in Spanish and try to attract more students. The idea was to attract more students, so that I can fill up that the time that I have, and I'll also make money. And suddenly then I started relating. That's how I learned few words. For instance, dedo is finger in Spanish, and pan is bread in Spanish. Makeup in Spanish is maquillaje. So I learned Spanish that in this manner, where I was relating words in different languages. In Hindi, like sin, we all know what is sin in English, but sin in Spanish is without. So I could relate those words. I already know these words. I just have to add a new meaning to them, and then I was
nice.
I was making life easy for myself in Spanish. So I had a bunch of words. I wrote them down and started making reels, and suddenly I had gained a bit of traction. A lot of students they wanted to learn. Then I like I had 5 to 6 students, I think. I'm still teaching 6 students, and then I decided, fine, this is going great, but now what's next? What should I do? And then while I was making those reels, I was sending them to all the Instagrammers or the YouTubers that I liked. And one of them, Vinamra, his YouTube channel is Shatir, he replied and like, hey, I'm interested in learning Spanish. And we had a conversation, and then I went to meet him. Then he motivated me, why don't you make a YouTube channel? Nobody's doing it, it'll be great.
Yeah.
He told me buy a mic. He gave me he gave me a bunch of numbers for the editors. I hired one guy, and that's how it all started. Somebody motivating you enough to do it, and anybody can start a YouTube channel. You just need a decent camera, a microphone. Bad video can work, but bad audio cannot work. People would just go away. So that's how I started.
That's interesting. Yeah. And I think I will be telling everybody that you were the one who introduced me to the editor. So our editor is kind of same, which is good. So thanks for that. All right. I think we're probably, reaching to the last stage of the podcast, and where I want to talk about a very difficult question. Okay. Some of the viewers might feel that, hey, and I already said that, you were born with a silver spoon, you come from a privileged family. So a lot of decisions you made was kind of easy for you in a way, where, hey, you said, you know what, I'm not going to study the, go a natural route, which could be engineering, doctor, lawyer, or whatever, right? You said, I'm going to learn the Spanish without even thinking whether you have a career after this or not, because you always had at the back of the mind, hey, if that doesn't work, I can always pursue later. I mean, it's not that I have to start supporting my parents or, supporting my family, immediately. So in a way, people might feel it was kind of easy for you, right? So what would you say about that?
In simple words, I would say, if it comes to learning the language, then if you are interested, it is easy. If you're not interested, then even 12th or 11th standard would be difficult for you. but I had to put the effort, right? You have to understand that I had to learn the language. What people think learning language would be, just replace those words with English and that's it. It is done. That's I am, just replace them and that is English. But they don't understand that grammar works differently in all the languages. You can't even translate Hindi to English directly. How can you expect to translate Spanish to English in the
So that's
same
probably a
manner?
myth which people have, learning a language could be easy
Yes.
if you know one language. So if that was as easy, it was just all about remembering the words, right? So which you're saying it's not.
Yeah. So the enrollment at Cervantes is highest at the A1 level, and the drop rate is also the highest at the A1 level. Why? Because they think, oh my God, language is so easy. We'll just go there. We'll replace those words from English to Spanish, and that's it, done. And we don't have to put the effort, because you have to remember those words in Spanish. It came very naturally. English came naturally to us because we are surrounded by English. We, from our keyboards to our TV to our textbooks, everything is in English. But what people don't realize, we are not surrounded by Spanish or any other language for that matter. If you want to learn that language, you have to surround yourself. People go to different countries, they learn the language there, because imagine somebody's going to Germany or Sweden, they would learn the language because they're hearing it, they're seeing it everywhere. So I have to create that atmosphere. I created that atmosphere around me where I was only watching Spanish content. I was only listening to Spanish music. I was only reading in Spanish, because generally I don't read, but I was reading in Spanish. I was watching a lot of stuff on TV, which I changed to Spanish. So I created that atmosphere around me where when I wanted to study, I was surrounded by, I felt that this bubble is only Spanish.
Wow. Okay, so I think I am getting a gist of what you're trying to say. So number one, I'll address what you are trying to probably say. So you're kind of acknowledging that, yes, I was born with a silver spoon, but at the same time, the effort is something which cannot be substituted, right? Let's say even if somebody has the money, they still have to work hard. You still have to go to the college. You still have to learn the language, remember the words, learn the grammar, everything, whatever it's there, right? In order to learn a language. So you have to do all that. And that cannot be substituted no matter, where you come from, right?
And it is not an easy process. It is very difficult. People take it, oh my God, okay, language, because it just said, okay, learn a language, because it is just thrown out there, learn a language. I would say try it once, and then you will realize. I have so many students who would just come to me and they'll just quit after 2 months, because once the class is over, the book never opens and words will not come in dreams. You have to put the effort.
Yeah, got it. So what I'm also getting is it's not. So people might think, hey, learning a language could be easiest thing. It's easier than maybe pursuing engineering. It sure might look like, but what you're saying is it's not, because you have to put in the effort every day. It's not about just reading the text. It's also about understanding the audio, understanding the video, understanding the grammar, understanding the nuances, the culture, right? So it is like much more than just remembering the words or translating. So okay.
Yes.
Thanks for all this knowledge. I think I appreciate your time, Lakshay. So let's do a quick rapid fire round. Okay. I think I'm going to make it a little tough for you. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Choose one player, Messi or Ronaldo.
Messi. Barcelona.
All right. Your favorite city in the world?
Sevilla.
Your favorite drink in the world?
Beer.
You have 10 crore rupees to spend in 1 month. What would you do?
I'll travel. I think I'll travel.
All right. Okay. I think knowing you, yeah, I'm sure travel should be in the cards. Last question. Okay. One advice which you would probably give to your 22-year-old, like 4 years ago, if there was one advice which you want to give to yourself, what would that be?
Things will be better at 25.
Okay. Let's say if you were to give an advice to all the viewers who are watching, like a general advice, life advice, which has really helped you. This could be something which could come from your own. This could be something which, let's say, other people, your parents, your siblings might have given you, which really helped you a lot.
Something that I developed, and I would say would be do whatever you like. money would come. Money 100% comes. Do whatever. Don't pursue a career that you do not like, because after 1 year or 2 years, you'll be fed up. And once you don't have the motivation,
Got it.
you're not going to make it.
All right. Thank you so much, Lakshay, for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. And I'll keep you posted on when this goes live. Okay.
So thank you.
Thanks for watching this video. If you like the video a teeny tiny bit, would you like the video, subscribe to the channel and tell me what you like? Throw your best insult at me if you did not like any part and you would want me to improve. I promise you will not offend me. Seems like too much work, right? Let's start with subscribing and let me know in the comments what I should cover next. Thanks again.